We often imagine that life changes in grand, dramatic moments. The day we get the dream job, meet the right person, or stumble upon an opportunity that changes everything. But the truth is, life doesn't transform in explosions of greatness. It evolves quietly through the power of small choices. The difference between who you are and who you want to be often hides in what you choose to do with just 30 minutes of your day. 30 minutes might not seem like much. It's the time it takes to watch an episode, scroll through your feed, or sit in traffic. But those same 30 minutes, if directed with purpose, can become the most valuable investment you ever make. Because what you do now compounds over time, and compounding is not just a financial principle. It's a life principle. Imagine reading for 30 minutes a day. That's about 15 pages. Do that for a year and you've read over 20 books. Now multiply that by 30 years, that's 600 books of knowledge, perspective, and wisdom that will shape how you think, decide, and live. Or imagine working out for just 30 minutes daily. That's only 2% of your day, but it could add years to your life, strength to your body, and confidence to your mind. Now, think about journaling, meditating, learning a skill, or planning your future, each for 30 minutes a day. The power isn't in the activity itself, it's in the consistency. Because consistency transforms habits, and habits shape identity. It's not what you do once in a while that defines you. It's what you do every single day, even when it seems too small to matter. You see, every small choice sends a message to your future. When you choose to spend 30 minutes improving, you're telling your future self you're worth it. But when you waste it without thought, you're silently saying, I'll deal with it later. And later becomes months, then years, then decades. The scary part. Most people don't lose their potential in one big mistake, they lose it in tiny, daily decisions that steal their time, drain their energy, and numb their ambition. They don't decide to give up on their dreams. They simply choose distraction over discipline, one 30-minute block at a time. But here's the beauty of it. The same rule applies in reverse. You can reclaim your life one 30-minute decision at a time. 30 minutes of focus today could start the fitness routine that gives you energy for decades. 30 minutes of learning could open the door to a skill that redefines your career. 30 minutes of reflection could spark an idea that changes the trajectory of your entire life. And when those minutes start to stack, they create a compound effect, an unstoppable force that builds momentum. Momentum becomes growth, growth becomes mastery, and mastery becomes freedom. The person you'll be in 30 years isn't built in one leap. They're built in thousands of tiny moments, each one asking the same question. What will you do with your next 30 minutes? If you give your best to those small windows of time, life will give its best back to you. You don't need to overhaul your entire existence overnight. You just need to win the next half hour. Because the future doesn't arrive suddenly. It sneaks in quietly, shaped by the decisions you make in silence. And when you look back 30 years from now, you'll realize that greatness didn't come from luck, or timing, or miracles. It came from the power of small choices. 30 minutes at a time. Every single day, life gives you a choice. A simple one, but a powerful one. Do you choose the pain of effort or the pain of regret? You can suffer for 30 minutes of growth, or you can spend the next 30 years wondering what your life could have been if you had. See, comfort feels good right now. The couch. The scrolling, I'll do it tomorrow. It's easy. It's warm. It's safe. But comfort has a hidden cost. It steals your future. Every time you choose ease over effort, you're buying a few minutes of relaxation with years of potential. Growth, on the other hand, is uncomfortable. It's heavy, sweaty, frustrating, and often lonely. But that's short-term discomfort. It's the down payment on your long-term freedom. Because 30 minutes of pushing yourself in the gym, in your studies, in your craft, in your discipline, can break chains that hold you back for decades. That small window of struggle creates strength, clarity, and self-back. It teaches you to face life instead of running from it. People often say, I don't have time. But the truth is, it's not about having time. It's about making time for the things that will set you free. You can't keep doing what's easy and expect a life that's extraordinary. Think about it. You can wake up early, push through 30 minutes of effort, and earn a day of energy, confidence, and pride. Or you can hit snooze, gain 30 more minutes of sleep, and spend the whole day tired, guilty, and behind. The difference between both versions of you, the one with pride and the one with regret, is just half an hour of decision. Short-term effort is a paradox. It hurts now, but it heals later. Comfort feels good now, but it isn't optional. You'll feel it either way. The only question is, do you want the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? The truth is, nothing worth having comes without a price. The body you dream of requires sweat. The career you want demands sacrifice. The peace you crave comes after battle. You can't skip the hard parts. They are the parts that build you. But here's the beauty of short-term effort: it compounds into freedom. Freedom to move without limits. Freedom to speak with confidence. Freedom to choose your path instead of being controlled by fear or weakness. Every time you endure discomfort now, you buy yourself options later. Every minute you push through pain today makes life easier tomorrow. Every disciplined choice becomes a brick in the foundation of your freedom. But regret is the quiet killer. It doesn't shout. It whispers, years later, when you realize what you could have done, who you could have been. It shows up in the mirror, in the sigh after another wasted day, in the ache of dreams you never chased. And the worst part, you can't undo regret. You can only prevent it. That's why you must make the hard choice now, not later, not tomorrow, not someday. 30 minutes of focused, disciplined effort is the antidote to a lifetime of wuff. You can sweat for 30 minutes or suffer for 30 years. You can struggle now or stay stuck forever. You can face temporary pain and earn permanent pride. The beautiful thing about effort is that it's temporary. The burn fades, the soreness passes, but the results remain. The beautiful thing about regret is that it's permanent. Once it sets in, lingers, quietly eating away at what could have been. So the choice is yours. Suffer for 30 minutes of growth or regret 30 years of comfort. It's not easy. It's not glamorous. But it's fair. And the day you start choosing effort over excuses, discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, that's the day you start living free. Because freedom isn't found in comfort. It's forged in the fire of effort. 30 minutes at a time. Time is the one thing every person is given equally. 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour. No one gets more and no one gets less. The only difference between the average and the exceptional isn't how much time they have, it's how they use it. Because every minute counts. Every single one. What you do in those small pockets of time determines who you become. The average person wastes 30 minutes without even noticing, scrolling, daydreaming, waiting for motivation to strike. But the exceptional person seizes those 30 minutes like their future depends on it. Because it does. You see, greatness doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's discipline in motion, repeated minute after minute, day after day. That's what separates ordinary from extraordinary, the decision to treat time as sacred. Think about it: 30 minutes a day of focused, intentional action is 182 hours a year. That's more than 7 full days of concentrated work. 7 days that could be used to build a business, write a book, master a skill, or transform your body. 7 days that most people give away to distraction. The exceptional person understands that success doesn't come from doing one big thing once. It comes from doing the small things consistently. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They create momentum from the moments they have. When you realize that every minute has value, you start to see your time differently. You stop saying, just 30 minutes. Because those 30 minutes are everything. They are the difference between reading and staying ignorant, between training and staying weak, between progress and regret. The average person looks at 30 minutes and sees too little to matter. The exceptional person looks at 30 minutes and sees enough to change everything. That mindset difference, that awareness of time, is what defines destiny. Imagine two people. Both have dreams, both have talent. One decides to spend 30 minutes each day working on their craft, while the other spends 30 minutes each day scrolling through social media. 1 year later, the first has built skill, discipline, and confidence. The second has built nothing but regret. Same time, different result. That's how life works, but in tiny, consistent minutes that accumulate into greatness. Every legend, every leader, every master of their field started small, but they made their minutes matter. They treated time like gold and guarded it like treasure. Because they knew that once a minute is gone, it never comes back. Here's the truth: you can't manage your life until you manage your minutes. The way you spend your 30 minutes today reveals who you'll be 30 years from now. If you fill them with purpose, your life will reflect purpose. If you fill them with excuses, your life will reflect regret. When you start respecting every minute, when you realize how powerful 30 minutes of focus can be, you begin to stand out. Not because you're smarter, not because you're luckier, but because you're disciplined when others are distracted. That's what separates the average from the exceptional: not talent, not opportunity, but attention to time. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, it's only 30 minutes, stop and remember this: that's 1/48th of your day. It's 1/17th of your year. but it might just be the most important 30 minutes of your life if you use it with purpose. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every transformation begins with a decision to value time. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, in this minute. Because every minute counts. Every second you commit builds the next version of you. And when the world looks at you years from now and calls you exceptional, you'll know the truth. You just valued what others wasted. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act. They wait for that perfect spark, the rush of energy, the excitement, the I feel ready moment. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days it shines bright, other days it disappears completely. If your success depends on how motivated you feel, you'll live a life of inconsistency, starting strong, quitting early, and wondering why nothing ever changes. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is doing what must be done, whether you showing up when you're tired, staying focused when you're bored, and pushing forward when you're tempted to quit. Because discipline doesn't ask, do I feel ready? It says, I'll do it anyway. See, desire is emotion, but discipline is decision. Desire wants comfort. Desire fades when things get hard. Discipline fights harder. Desire is easy. Discipline is earned, and that's why discipline always wins. Every successful person you admire, every athlete, leader, artist, or visionary, didn't rely on constant motivation. They relied on structure, routine, and relentless discipline. They understood something most people never grasp: by your future doesn't wait for your mood to improve. The truth is, you're not always going to want to get up early, study, train, or stay committed. You won't always feel inspired, but if you can push yourself to act even when you don't want to, you've already separated yourself from 99% of the world. Discipline is freedom in disguise. At first, it feels like restriction, setting alarms, saying no to distractions, keeping promises to yourself. But over time, that very discipline builds the life you dreamed of: the health, the peace, the success, the self-respect, the freedom to live on your own terms. Because here's the truth: the person who only acts when it's easy will always be controlled by circumstances. But the person who acts no matter what will control their destiny. Motivation says, I'll do it when I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it because I said I would. And that small difference changes everything. Every time you choose discipline over desire, you cast a vote for your future self, the stronger, wiser, more capable version of you that's waiting on the other side of effort. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, you tell your future, I care. When you train instead of giving excuses, you tell your future, I'm committed. When you focus instead of scrolling, you tell your future, you matter more than my comfort. That's what discipline really is: an act of self-respect. It's proof that your dreams deserve your consistency, not your convenience. The hard truth: you will never always feel like it, but you can always decide to do it. And that decision, repeated daily, is what builds unstoppable people. Discipline may not give you instant results, but it gives you permanent ones. It builds habits that carry you when motivation dies. It strengthens your mind until effort becomes second nature. When you stop waiting to feel ready and start acting because your future is worth it, you take back control of your life. You stop being a slave to your emotions and start being the author of your destiny. So don't chase motivation. Build discipline. Don't wait to feel inspired. Move first. The feeling will follow. Because the truth is, success doesn't come to the most talented, the most passionate, or even the most motivated. It comes to the one who refuses to quit, the one who shows up every single day, no matter what. Motivation fades, desire changes, but discipline lasts. And when you finally decide that your future is worth fighting for now, you'll stop needing motivation altogether. Every action you take, every thought you nurture, every habit you repeat, they're all shaping someone. That someone is the person you'll be years from now. Because whether you realize it or not, you are constantly building your own future, not in the distance of decades, but in the choices you make today. Too many people live like today doesn't matter, as if their decisions are temporary, as if their words, habits, and priorities exist in isolation. But nothing you do is isolated. Every small action becomes a brick in the foundation of your future self. And that's what legacy thinking is all about. Realizing that you're not just living for today's comfort, but for the decades of life that today will create. Legacy thinking means asking yourself one powerful question: will my future self thank me for this or resent me for it? Because one day, you'll meet the person you've been building through your actions, the version of you shaped by your discipline, your effort, your patience, or your neglect. And that version will either be your proudest creation or your biggest regret. When you start thinking in terms of legacy, every moment gains weight. Your workouts aren't just for your body today, they're for your strength at 60. Your studies aren't just for grades, they're for wisdom that carries through a lifetime. Your decisions about how you spend your time aren't just for today's pleasure, they're for the story you'll tell when it's all said and done. The truth is, most people are short sighted. They chase what feels good now and pay for it later. They trade long term fulfillment for short term relief. They forget that every easy choice today becomes a heavy consequence tomorrow, and every hard choice today becomes a gift to your future. Legacy thinkers live differently. They understand that every act of discipline, every moment of effort, every time they resist comfort, they're not losing something, they're investing in someone. They're building a life that lasts longer than a feeling. Think about it. The greatest achievements in human history weren't built overnight. They were built by people who thought decades ahead. People who planted trees knowing they might never sit under their shade. People who worked not for applause, but for impact. Legacy thinking isn't about fame or recognition. It's a responsibility to respect the future version of yourself. The responsibility to build habits, values, and discipline that make your future life easier, not harder. Because your choices echo. The food you eat today shapes your health years from now. The way you handle money today defines your security later. The attitude you carry today sets the tone for the relationships and opportunities that follow you. Every moment of your life is a message to your future self saying, "This is how much I care about you." So when you're tired, tempted, or ready to quit, remember, you're not just fighting for today's version of you. You're fighting for the version that's coming. The one who will wake up one day in the world you're building right now. Legacy isn't created when you're older. It's being built in real time through your daily decisions. It's not about the wealth you leave behind, it's about the strength, character, and wisdom you carry forward. Ask yourself, if you met yourself 30 years from now, would you be proud of the person standing in front of you? Would you thank your younger self for their discipline? Or wish they had tried harder? Because that meeting will happen. And when it does, you'll realize that your legacy wasn't written by chance. It was written by choice, 30 minutes, one day, one decision at a time. So stop living like today is disposable. Start building the person you live with for decades. Because that person, your future self, deserves the best version of you now. And that's what legacy thinking truly is. Every day gives you windows of opportunity, small, powerful moments when your choices can completely shift the direction of your life. Most people miss them because they're too busy, too distracted, or too tired to notice. But those who do notice and act discover something extraordinary. It doesn't take years to change your life. It takes 30 minutes of complete focus repeated consistently. That's the transformation window, a short, intense burst of commitment that can reshape your mindset, your body, and ultimately, your destiny. You see, transformation doesn't begin in a grand moment. It begins in an ordinary one, when you decide to give your full attention, energy, and effort to something meaningful. 30 minutes might seem small, but when it's pure, uninterrupted focus, it becomes powerful beyond measure. In those 30 minutes, distractions vanish, excuses fade, and what's left is you, the real you, facing your potential without noise or comfort. When you focus completely, you unlock a different level of power. Your body moves with purpose. Your mind sharpens. And in that moment, you stop existing by habit and start living by intention. Think about it. 30 minutes of focused exercise can start transforming your body. 30 minutes of deep learning can shift the way you think. 30 minutes of reflection can change how you see the world. It's not about duration, it's about depth. Most people spend their days multitasking, half working, half scrolling, half dreaming. They never go all in. And that's why they stay stuck. They confuse movement with progress and wonder why nothing changes. But when you step into your transformation window, when you give one task, one goal, or one challenge your full attention, something inside you changes. You move from wishing to doing, from distraction to discipline, from chaos to clarity. In those 30 minutes, you discover how capable you truly are. Because transformation isn't magic, it's focus multiplied over time. Focus is the bridge between potential and progress. When you learn to direct your mind completely, even for half an hour, you start rewriting your identity. It's not easy, though. The moment you decide to focus, your mind will resist. It will pull you toward comfort, your phone, your doubts, your distractions. But that's the test. Transformation begins the moment you refuse to look away. Each focus session is a declaration. I will not waste this moment. I will not settle for half effort. Will give everything I have. Right now. That's how you grow. That's how you transform. Do this once, and you'll feel proud. Do this daily, and you'll feel unstoppable. Do this for 30 minutes every day for 30 years, and your life will be unrecognizable. Because 30 minutes of focus isn't just about the result, it's about the person you become in the process. The person who can control their mind can control their life. The person who can focus through discomfort can achieve anything. And that's what your transformation window gives you. Not just progress, but power. The power to shape your mindset. The power to strengthen your body. The power to design your destiny. Don't underestimate it. 30 minutes may seem small, but so does a spark until it ignites a fire. Those 30 minutes can become the turning point of your entire journey if you give them everything you've got. So when you find that window, that quiet space where you can focus, step into it like your future depends on it. Because it does. Every day gives you 30 minutes that could change everything. Guard them fiercely and pour your soul into them completely. That's the transformation window. Not someday, not later. Now, in these 30 minutes, you have the power to change your life forever.